Hey, welcome to another great episode of the Real Deal Podcast. Happy Wednesday evening, January 28th, 2026. I'm your host, as always, Courtney Harding. Glad to be back with another incredible episode with another incredible guest. But before we get started, before I bring her on, let's get it. Hit my music. Let's go. All right. Once again, welcome to another great episode of the Real Deal Podcast. I'm your host, as always, Courtney Hardin. Once again, glad to be back with a new and exciting episode with a great guest coming up. But before I bring her on, you can follow the show on all the podcast platforms, whether it is Spotify, Apple. We're also on YouTube, BS3TVLive.com, BS3 Network. YouTube channel. We're also on BS3 Network Roku channel. You can follow all the content there. All the shows are on the BS3 Network. So follow that, the website, BS3TVLive.com, and on the YouTube channel, you get all the episodes and all the shows there, from sports to entertainment, movie and TV reviews. Got a cooking show on there. A little bit of everything. So if you are into just podcasting, there's something for everyone on the podcast. You can follow me on all the social media platforms, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and Blue Sky. I'm on there too. Don't usually use Blue Sky too much, but you can follow me on there. Get the Real Deal and Courtney Harden there. All right, let me bring in my guest here. We were just chatting, and we kind of just we're talking about how we connected and things like that, and we connected over TikTok, actually, and that's how I came to be. So, but she is a sports reporter. You can follow her on Instagram and TikTok, Gabby in the Game. So, welcome to the show, Gabrielle Vence. Thank you for coming on. I really
Hello.
appreciate it.
Thank you for having
Yeah,
me on. I'm excited. Yeah.
yeah, I'm excited to have you on as well. And then I say your last name right, Vince, or is it
Yes,
Vinci?
Vence.
Vince. Okay.
You're actually like one of the only people who like says it right.
Okay. All
So,
right.
yeah, Vence. You said it good.
Okay, good,
Good
good.
job.
I was practicing it, but I meant to ask you before. I usually ask you before we record last names. I said I'm gonna go with it. So
You're
glad
good.
that
First
all
try,
right.
you got
Yes,
it.
thank you. But thank you for coming on. I'm glad, like I said, we connected on social media, TikTok and Instagram and things like that. And so gonna get to know you a little bit and share your story, and you can share your story with everyone. So but how's everything going with you, and how's your 2026 so far?
2026 has been good so far, honestly. I have a lot of cool things that I want to do for Gabby in the Game soon. So just getting the ball rolling on those things. It is going by fast though. January is almost over, which is crazy. But yeah, things are going good. School's going good. So pretty
Yeah.
good so far.
Oh, that's good. I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, January is almost over. We were just talking about New Year's
Yeah.
and saying Happy New Year for the first week or 2 weeks, whatever. And now it's the end of January,
Right.
and now it's like, oh my goodness, February's going to be here, and winter storms was all across the United
Mhm.
States. Probably like a third of the United States had some type of winter storm this past weekend, and so we just
Yeah.
saying how much we were snowed in over the last
Yeah.
3-4 days, and just trying to get out. It's been very cold here in Philadelphia too, and snow and ice and things like that. So yeah, it's been,
Yeah. It's
but
freezing here.
yeah, freezing, right? Yes. So, but again, glad. Thank you again. Really appreciate it. I'm excited to have you on, and we can get started. So, first question I always ask my first time guest is, who is Gabrielle Vence, and how did you get into sports and where you are today?
Yeah, so I'm a sophomore at the University of Louisville. I study sports administration with a minor in sports media. And sports have always been a part of my life, like ever since I was born, pretty much. I'm originally from St. Louis, so I grew up going to Rams games when they were in St. Louis and
Mm,
Cardinals games. And I also have three older siblings, and we were all involved in sports. So I've been going to like football games since I was like a baby. So it's always been a part of my life. I was involved in sports myself. I played like softball, basketball, just a whole bunch of youth sports. I ended up really zoning in on competitive dance and competitive cheerleading, but I was still around the world of like football and basketball, and I still like love those things. So I would say my journey in sports media really started probably when I was trying to decide what I wanted to do in college, and I wasn't really sure at first. I took an AP psych class that I really liked, so I ended up majoring in psychology only for my first semester of college. And there was always like something in the back of my mind, like I wanted to do some type of journalism. And I still obviously loved sports so much. And I wasn't in like competitive cheer anymore. So I still wanted to be around the world of sports. So I ended up changing my major my second semester of college. I wanted to do sports psychology at first because I do think it's very important that athletes have like mental health resources and things like that. But I realized I wanted to be more on the storytelling side. So I was actually watching, I think it was the either quarterfinals or semifinals of the college football playoffs last year. Georgia and Notre Dame played. And there was a woman reporter, and I literally said to my dad, I was like, I want to do that. I want to do that. So that day, I changed my major. And ever since then, I've just got the ball rolling on things. I joined the executive board at my school for sports administration. I've just been getting to know a whole bunch of people. And I started Gabby in the Game last May, the end of May. So it's really been like not that long, but there's a lot of good things that have happened in the past few months. And it's just been growing and growing. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at today. I have an internship at the Athletics Broadcasting Center. I've been doing social media for our ice hockey teams here at U of L. So just a lot of good things going right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, a lot of great things, and they said it's a great journey. I always like to see because everyone's journey is different.
Yeah.
How they get into this profession, whether it is broadcasting, media, business, administration, as you said. There's so many different avenues to get in. I think, and it's interesting. You said how your journey just started when you were young, going to football games and things like that, and to that love and passion that you had even when you were younger, and you said competitive dance and things like that. Does that did that kind of just where you are today, the versatility that is mostly needed in the sports reporting and media, did that mold you to where you are today?
Oh yeah, for sure. I think it's really important to have versatility. Like I love many sports. Like I love college football. I love the NFL. I love the NBA, college basketball. I love hockey. I just love sports. And I love like the people behind the stats because I feel like fans are more connected to athletes who like are showcasing their personalities, especially nowadays with things like NIL. It's really important for athletes to showcase their personality and who they are behind their stats. So I think growing up in that space has really helped me because I've gotten to know like athletes behind like who they are.
Yeah.
Like my brothers, like I know who they are off the football field. So I'm like, who else? What are these other athletes off the field? So I think the way I grew up definitely has molded me into this profession today, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And it starts there. That's the foundation.
Yeah.
And as you said, you kind of knew, okay, I need to change you want to change your major, you want to change things. You said you like the storytelling of it. We're gonna get into that in just a bit with the storytelling. Actually, I'll go into that. The importance of storytelling, and you said you cover hockey and football and things like that. How important to you is that storytelling when it comes to sports broadcasting, media, social media, things like that? They're all intertwined together. But how important to you is the storytelling part of it?
Yeah, I think it's super important. Fans want to be connected to these players. They don't just want to see them shoot a basketball or throw a football. It's really important for them to know who these athletes are behind, like what they do on the field. For example, like Fernando Mendoza, everyone loves that kid, and he's a great QB, of course, but everyone loves like what he says in his interviews. He always gives the glory to God. He's very humble. He gives praises to the other teams that he plays. Like he's a likable player, and people like to see those things, and it makes them feel connected. It makes fans feel like they're not just watching the game, but they're in the game. hence my
Yeah.
name, Gabby in the Game.
Yeah, Gabby in the
But
game. There
yes,
it is.
so yes, it's very
Yes.
important to see how athletes are because it's also humanizing them in a way because
Mm,
people sometimes can look at athletes and think they're just like kids like running around a football field, but these are real people with real stories. And if you really look like things up, professional athletes and like college athletes usually don't come from like the best background, and it's cool to see how like they've worked their way up to where they are now.
yeah.
So I also think it's important to represent like underrepresentation, like voices, like for example, women in sports. Definitely, I love storytelling on women in sports because they're underrepresented and just things like that. So I think it's really important for the fans to feel connected in that way.
Yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
I love the storytelling because I think it shows besides what they do on the field, on the court, but the off the court, the off the field, things you said, humanizing them,
Mhm.
because they are humans in the
Yeah.
and at the end of the day, what they do is their profession, and their job. But outside of that, it's the the human side of it. I love when that story is told besides the X's and O's, besides the stats, things
Yeah.
like that. I'm with you on that, and it's interesting because we just saw Coco Golf when she had her moment when she was trying to get away from a frustrating loss
Yeah.
and tore up her racket and everything too. She's like, wait, the cameras were rolling. I thought I found a place where
Mhm.
the cameras are not rolling, even though cameras roll
Right.
everywhere. They
Yeah.
follow them everywhere. She said the only place they had at the Australian Open is the locker room, and she just found thought she found a space
Mhm.
and wanted to get away. Didn't want kids to see her use the frustration.
Yeah.
But as she said, I don't think she had to apologize for anything. It's just
Mhm.
she
Yeah.
said, yes, I'm doing my best to hold my emotions in check, but that just shows that you're human too,
Yeah.
and
These are
you
real people.
real
Yeah.
people. Yeah, exactly. So that I thought that was interesting. And then she said she apologized, and that's fine. But I like what Serena Williams said to her too. Is like, it just shows how much of a human being you are.
Mhm.
And you get frustrated when you lose. And sometimes you just say, okay, I didn't have my best, and this is the emotion I'm showing. This was frustrating. Of I didn't play my game. I didn't play my best game, and I love when
Yeah.
I do see that, and then reporters and stuff brings that out, brings
Mhm.
that storytelling too, for sure.
Yeah.
And so yeah, what you said, what's storytelling, and someone asked you about social media and everything too. How much has social media, in your eyes, has influenced so much? That's what's going on today. I mean, it's everywhere. Social media is everywhere. So, but
Yeah.
how much over the last, let's say, a couple of years, social media has influenced how we consume sports and how you report it as well?
Mhm. Yeah, social media has always been a part of my life since I am pretty young. I've grown up with social media and it's always growing.
Yeah,
It's growing every day. And like I mentioned earlier, NIL is growing a lot
yeah,
and that shows us like personality behind players now and they really try to market themselves in a good way. So social media is really important for just fan engagement and just knowing who these players are behind their stats. It's also important if you want a career in sports, I think, because I actually shout out to my brother. He told me to like start Gabby in the Game because it really clicked in me that you can't just have an internship. You can't just have a job because everybody like wants a job in sports. Everybody has an internship. You have to
yeah.
do something to stand out. So with social media, I've been trying to just be consistent, put out good content, and it's gotten me some places. So I'm going to keep going with that. But it's really important for the business side of sports and also for the athletes.
Yeah, social media, I mean, it has its good and its bad, just like
Yeah.
anything else. And, we see a lot of negativity and when it comes to social media and how you said how the news and sports is being reported and
Mhm.
things like that. So you have athletes that don't trust the media or don't, and anything like that. But then you have good you do, but you also have the good in it too, where you have great
Yeah.
storytelling, as you said, and want to report the story, want to report the game, want to report those different things. So I think it said social media can really be is very useful, and when
Mhm.
it's done right, and then sometimes it's just not not as good. It could be
Yeah.
toxic. It could be a toxic place in some
Mhm.
ways too. But you can always navigate through that. favorite and least favorite things about social media in your opinion?
Hmm. My favorite thing would just be sharing content and also like seeing other people's content and being like inspired by it,
Mm,
especially in the space of women in sport. Everyone like is very supportive on social media for the women's side, I would say. So just like the support and community that I feel through social media has been a plus. Just people who I connect with, like you on TikTok or like on Instagram, LinkedIn, even just making connections and supporting each other definitely is one of my favorite things about social media. Least favorite, I would say, well, kind of more on the sports media side, how women are kind of underestimated in a way,
yeah.
which goes back to like the community that we need for women in sports, and it's very important to support. I support like literally every woman in sport that I see on my For You page. I'm like, oh, follow, like
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Yes, yeah, it's but you can be underestimated in this field. So, which is why it's so important to stand out and start early like I'm trying to do. So, that would be my least favorite part, but it kind of all ties into one because like being underestimated kind of like makes me want to work harder and those challenges only like make me better. So, in a way, they kind of go together, my favorite and least favorite thing.
Yeah, yeah, and then that makes total sense
Mhm.
because, as you said, as you know, as a woman you're a woman in sports, um,
Yeah.
and you said you love seeing women just grow as much as possible and win as much as possible, and
Mhm.
you know they're doing great things, in this space and things like that too. So yeah, my next question would be, you know, with women in sports and media and business and things like that, how much of that growth and that big, you know, it's been a big boom over the last, I mean, it's been going on,
Mhm.
and everything too, especially over the last few years. Talk about that, you know, the growth and the increase in visibility, and things like that, how much that has blossomed when it comes, even just I said women's sports, you know, WNBA
Oh
and, you
yeah.
know, soccer, volleyball, but and I mean just that tennis that we talked about, but not just that, but also in media.
Hmm. Yeah, I think it's really important. I think we're living in history right now. Women in
Mhm.
sports have never been this much represented, and I'm just so like grateful that I'm starting in a space that's already kind of growing, and I just want to grow it even more. So on the media side, and like what you said, like with the WNBA, people are paying more attention to women in sports. People are watching these games, they're buying tickets. So we're on a good track for women in sport, and I just think it's just going to keep on growing, honestly. But we're in a good spot right now. We just keep growing and growing, and we're still the minority, of course, of the field in sports. It's still a male dominated field, but that just again makes me more excited for the future of women in sport.
Yeah, for sure. And I've been a big advocate of it for a long time, and really been pushing pushing, say, having the platform,
Mhm.
for to you know for to share stories like yourself and others in this space, and just I want to continue to do my part. What do, in your eyes, what do uh your male colleagues have to or should be doing, or you would want them to do to continue to be an advocacy for women in sports?
Yeah, I think just being there to support and like at my internship at the Broadcasting Center, I think they do a really good job with this. We're a pretty diverse group. Just being there to support, teaching me things like that, like just really advocating for us and putting us in the positions that we need to be in to represent women, like National Girls and Women in Sports Day is coming up. So
Yeah.
just like celebrating that, celebrating women in sport, and knowing that we are equal and that women like deserve a seat at the table, and we don't like have to we shouldn't have to work like 10,000 times harder as the men. Like we're all on the same playing field. We all love sports and media. So just advocating for us and treating us as equal is all we need.
I love that, and I like that you said that the support, being there, and you know some of the things we talk about social media, some of the things that like YouTube and social media, some of the things that people can do just in general, as we say, like,
Yeah.
subscribe, share, all those things is
Mhm.
easy. It's a click. It's just a click on your phone. We all have.
Right.
A lot of people have cell phones somehow, and they and so a lot of people have social media. I say everybody because my mom don't have a social media. She does, but she don't really use it or anything. I think
Mhm.
my brother uses it for things like that. But she looks at things. But again, people that have
Yeah.
social media and cell phones, um, like and subscribe. You know, it says support. Come
Mhm.
out to support. As you said, if you're out there and reporting and doing some reporting on something, just come out there and support and everything and share the video and things like that. I
Yeah.
think that's some of the easiest thing people can do to really support
Yeah.
to support everybody for sure and everything too. So I got to get into Gabby the game. You said you just started it last May,
Mhm.
so it would be a full year coming up
Yeah, soon.
as well. So talk about a little bit more, dive in a little bit more about uh, Gabby the game, why you started it, and where do you see it go, or where would you like to see it go from now? You said it's been about 7-8 months, but so
Mhm.
where do you like to see it go?
Yeah, so I started it because, like I said earlier, I needed something to stand out from others, and I've learned that it's a really like important part of being in the sports industry is standing out because there's a whole bunch of people who want to be sports reporters. So
Yeah.
something to stand out, and I also wanted a space for like myself and athletes to share stories. My whole mission is to like show the player behind the stats because I don't think there's like too many things out there like that, especially like where I'm from. I wanted to kind of start in my community, highlighting St. Louis athletes, highlighting Louisville athletes. So just little things like that is kind of why I started it. Um, it's been really good so far. I just love like getting to know the players. Like sometimes my favorite part is like even before I interview them when we're just like having small talk because it's just like you're like we were saying earlier, like these are just humans, like these are normal people
Yeah.
and they're cool people. So I like seeing their personalities before I even get to interview them. That's usually my favorite part of these interviews. I see this going pretty far. I want to start doing more in like from U of L athletes. I want to know more about them behind their stats. I do have long term goals of like reporting for ESPN or CBS or Fox. So that's what I'm working up towards right now. But I'm really grateful for everything that I've grown in the past few months. It's been crazy to see. And like when I look back, like sometimes obviously like you have self-doubt in this industry and you're like, am I doing anything right? Am I
Right.
making any type of difference? But just things like this, like I really appreciate you reaching out to me and having me on because it just validates me that I'm going on the right track and that I'm doing something right. So I just think it's been really sweet to see how it's been growing and just going to continue to grow and highlight these athletes.
Well, you are doing an excellent job. What I've seen over the past few months, and yeah, I just wanted to reach out and like I said, just to, um, and then he said it's great to see uh, that the growth and trajectory of what you're
Yeah.
doing, and you said you're working very hard and pushing forward, and you said you're just going to continue to get better and better, and you said
Mhm.
that was one of my questions, goals for 2026. So again, you said, or even just in general, what you want to see Gabby in the game continue to keep growing, and you did just say one of your favorites is interviewing. Any let me ask you this then, you said interviewing, what who would you like to, and if you had to pick 3 to 5 people, it could be an athlete, coach, it could be someone in the sports media. If you could pick 3 to 5 people that you have an interview, who would be on your list? Not to be in any order, who would be on your list of people that you would love to interview?
That's a really good question. I'll give you three.
Okay.
The first one would be I don't know if you follow U of L athletics at all, but basketball, we have this kid named Michael Brown. He's our point guard. He's really good and
Hmm.
seems like a really good kid. I'd love to interview him. Randomly, I would love to interview Nick Saban. I just think he's a funny
Okay.
guy.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that would be cool. And let's see. Caitlin Clark. I love that girl.
Mm, that's a really good
Yeah.
list.
She's a
That's a really
strong,
good.
strong player.
Yeah.
Really good, like advocate for women in sports. Her and Angel Reese really, I feel like, is was the start of like the WNBA being like super huge. So I would love those are my dream three, top
Okay.
three.
I like that. No, I really do. Those are them big names, and you never know who
Right.
you might run into, and with everything how we network, and
Mhm.
we're out there and trying to really getting into this business and this industry. You could just run into, because look at, you can have something like, say you go to Super Bowl Media Row,
Right.
Radio Row. I was there 2 years ago
Uh-huh.
and was able to see and interview a lot of different people.
Yeah.
And that's just one step. I know that's coming up in this next week, and but
Mhm.
you just never know who you network with when you go to these events, whether locally or nationally. So there, that's I like that. I really like that list
Yeah.
that you said. So speaking of people that anybody that you've looked up to or that you admire that's in this industry, whether it was even when you were coming into it or even today, any couple people that you admire or looked up to, or even just said just would love to reach out to and get advice or just to have a conversation with.
Mhm. My biggest one would probably be Holly. She reports on a whole bunch of like college football. I think she was at the playoffs. So, and I love, 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 love college football. It's probably one of my favorite like
Yeah.
little businesses in sports. So I really looked up to her. Just all the like women reporters, women hosts, they inspire me every day. So that's who I would say for sure.
Okay.
And my parents, I have a really, really good support system, like at home, all my friends.
Yeah.
So they keep me going for sure.
That's a great thing. I mean, to have that support system with your friends and
Yeah.
family, they humble us for sure. They keep us humbled,
Yeah.
and just in case we don't get too far out there and things like that. You need that good. I think that's great advice too, to have good people around you,
Yeah.
to keep you motivated, keep things in perspective,
Mhm.
and able and cheer for you as well to when you
Yeah.
win and things like that. I think that's wonderful to have as well. All right, just
Mhm.
got a couple more before I let you go. We could
Sure.
talk for a long time, but you
Yeah.
said you were
Family hour. I love talking.
yeah, me too. I love the interview. This is, like you said, part of it is I love doing this interviewing. And
Mhm.
you talked about you were St. Louis Rams when they were back then in the Ram. Are you still
Yeah.
a Rams fan in LA or?
Yeah. Yeah. I've been loyal. I have a
Yeah.
brother in LA.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And my mom is from Pasadena, California. So I used to visit LA a lot, like when I was a kid. So I have some emotional attachment to LA. So them going to LA, I mean, it was sad for little
Yes.
8-year-old me,
And
but
sure.
I do still root for them in LA.
Yeah, it's interesting that it still hasn't, and I'm sure for you, like they were the St. Louis Rams, like they were, and then they go LA, now they're LA, and then you're thinking,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, and I know that they disappointing loss this past weekend,
Hmm.
just falling short of the Super Bowl, but they did win 3 years ago, 4 years ago. They
Yeah.
won, yeah, something, yeah,
Pretty
on 40,
recently.
yeah, they did pretty recently, and everything too. So we'll see what they do next year with Matthew Stafford. He's getting a little older, as
Yeah.
well, and everything too. But they were very, very close ahead of getting
They were.
into going to the Super Bowl and everything too. So, but what do you think of this matchup in the Super Bowl? Patriots and Seahawks. Any interest or anything you think? What do you think of the matchup?
Okay, prediction. I'm gonna go Seahawks.
Okay.
I used to be a Seahawk fan like when they won the Super Bowl in was that 17 or I think it was 17 or 18.
Yeah.
One of
Yep.
those because well, I was like 11. I didn't really know that much about the NFL. I loved their colors, so that was my thing. But I
Okay.
actually do like them as a team now more than their colors. So I'm gonna go Seahawks. I'm gonna go Seahawks. Yeah, but we'll see what happens. I'm excited for the Super Bowl. I'm honestly excited that the Chiefs are in it. Hot take. I'm not a huge
Well,
fan of the
yes.
Chiefs.
Yeah, yes, me either. I do like Patrick Mahomes, but I'm a big Eagles fan, so when we whipped
Oh
them
yeah,
last,
I
when we
love the
whipped them
Eagles. Yeah.
in the last Super Bowl, which was amazing for me as a fan. But the Eagles didn't have the best year this year. A lot of different things was going on, turmoil and things like that. But the Chiefs didn't make the playoffs, and I know a lot of fans are like, we're so glad that they're not in it again. It's almost like when
Yeah, they need a break anyway.
yeah,
Like, let
yeah.
somebody else. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's funny because some people were like, "Oh, we don't have to see the Eagles and the Chiefs again." I was like, pump the brakes. I mean, the Eagles we went 3 years
Yeah.
ago, or yes, 2 years ago, and then we went last year. We lost the couple years before that, and
Mhm.
then we lost, and then we won this last season. So I was like, pump the brakes a little bit, but
Yeah.
I get it. It's like you don't want to see things. There was always two different teams. These two teams met a Super Bowl before. That was the whole Marshawn Lynch
Mhm.
they didn't run in, and they didn't give him the ball to run in. And Tom Brady won his at that time, I think it was his fifth Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Patriots were the same way. They were the same thing. They dominated for so long, and people were like, "Oh, we're finally done." But now they're back in it.
Right.
That's a
They're back.
possibility. They can go on
Yes.
another run. They can go on another run with
True.
the young QB and Drake May.
Mhm.
More than likely going to be one of the MVP candidate for sure. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting Super Bowl
Yeah.
this year. I'll be watching from home. Not too much interest, but just as a fan of the
Yes.
football, we'll see how that goes. But I want to ask you. You talked a little bit about the WNBA, and they're going through negotiations and with the CBA collective bargaining agreement. What do you think of how that's transpired? It looks like they're definitely far apart when it comes to this. So, but what do you think? Women need to be the women like we talked about. Women they should be paid in the
Yeah.
W for sure. They need to get more of that revenue. I'm all for it and
Mhm.
everything too. But do you feel like there will be a season in 2026?
I'm gonna say yes. I think that they're like gonna figure something out so that there can be a season for sure. It's gonna be a work in progress, but I think that it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I do too. I really believe they will have a season. It might be delayed,
Oh,
because
that's
they
true.
they they have they said
Yeah.
I think I just read something. There's 100 days left before usually the season
Mm,
starts in May.
yeah.
So if they don't get
Maybe
a
like July.
yeah, June-ish,
June.
July maybe. I think it will be delayed. I don't know if it's going to be shortened or not. I guess that all depends. I mean, they brought the schedule out, so that was
Yeah.
interesting before they even have a deal. So I mean,
Yeah,
this
I saw
this
that. It's like, wait.
yeah. So anyway, when they brought the schedule, like, wait, did they get a deal done? That's what I
Right.
thought when I saw that. But that's gonna be interesting to see what happens in this next month because you got
Mhm.
two expansion teams, Toronto and Portland. So they got to have the expansion draft. You got the
Mhm.
March Madness coming up, and then the draft, and then training camp. So yeah, it's a
Yeah,
lot.
sports is just
Very,
always
yeah,
moving.
yes, always moving, definitely always moving. So, all right, last one on the sports side, and then I'll just ask. I got one more after that. You talked about college football, how big of a fan you are, and everything too. What'd you think of the college football playoffs and the national championship with Indiana winning their first, beating Miami? What'd you think of the entire playoffs in the season in
Yeah,
general?
okay. So I'm a Georgia fan. So
Okay.
that loss against Ole Miss was
Mm,
like it felt like
yeah.
a breakup. It was awful. I cried. I cried. It was awful. But
uh,
I do really like Fernando Mendoza. Like I'm not a big Indiana fan. I don't care too much for them,
yeah.
but they're close enough to Louisville that I rooted for them in the championship. And also I am not a Miami fan because I go to Louisville and we play Miami all the time. So
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
not a huge Miami fan. So I was rooting for Indiana all the way. I'm obsessed with Fernando Mendoza. Like he's so like I'm obsessed with him. He's so good. And then like at the same time, his personality is just like they go together so well. And he's just such a likable player. So that goes back to what we were saying earlier, like how it's important for people to know who these players are behind their stats and everything. But I liked the outcome of the championship. I didn't think Miami was going to be all the way to the end, but
Mm,
I think it's also cool that like the whole story with Fernando, like he grew up 10 minutes from U Miami's campus
Yeah.
and then he gets to play in that stadium. It's just all so cool to me, and they need to make a documentary on that season because that's historic. That's insane. So, and it made me a little emotional too because I don't know, like I'm such a like empath, and that's why sports reporting is so good for me because I just love the game so much. Like I, it was so great for them, so historic, very good season.
Very good season,
So
undefeated.
I'm happy for them. They deserved it for sure.
Yeah, undefeated. And growing up, I was a big Miami fan. Growing up, a long
Mhm.
time ago, I didn't, I follow college football and watch it and everything. I don't really have a favorite team anymore, but
Yeah,
it was good to see Miami back. The U back has been a long time too since they won
yeah.
their last national championship, sometime I think early 2000s,
Mhm.
and the close they've been so close getting to the playoffs, and then when they started with the college football playoffs, they didn't make it last year, so it was good to see. And they went on a run. They got in. They barely got in and went on a run. But again, you said the story of Indiana winning their first national championship was a great story, and it
Mhm.
was just it was really good to see that game. It came down to the wire in the end,
Yeah, it
and
was a
right at the end.
crazy game. I was
Yeah,
up and down all night.
yes, yes. And then when Miami was driving at the last couple of minutes, I'm like, oh, here we go,
Yeah,
here we go. And then they got the interception. Indiana did, and that was
with
it.
it.
So
Mhm.
Indiana's your national champions,
Yeah.
undefeated and national champions. So definitely did
Yeah, if you
they
told me that a
did
few
it.
years ago, I'd be like, "You're crazy." Like,
Yes,
if
right.
you told
Yeah,
me I had an undefeated season and was the champions, I'd be like, "You're literally insane."
yes,
But that's just
exactly.
how crazy it is. Like, so such a historic season. It's so good. But
Right,
also,
exactly.
like, I wouldn't have been that mad if Miami won, only because they lost to Louisville. They lost to my school. So we were
They
all
did.
like, if Miami
Hmm.
wins, we can say that we beat the national champions. So either way it
Yes,
went, I would have been fine. But I'm glad
right,
Indiana
right.
won.
Yeah, and that was Miami's first loss, I think, too, of the season when they lost to
Yeah,
Louisville.
and
So
yeah, we just went downhill after that. Like, I don't know what happened to us, but it's okay.
I know that Miami lost two, and then they won their last like 3 or 4 games and got in.
Mhm.
They
Yeah,
got in, and they proved like, hey, we deserve to be in, and got to the national championship. They were just a
yeah,
few points away, so couple plays away, and they would have been the national champions. But shout out and big shout out to Indiana for winning.
yes.
So all right, last question, just fun. Well, not a fun one, but what do you like to do outside of sports reporting? And I know you go into go to school and things like that, but things you love to do outside of your profession.
Mhm. I love artsy things. I love to like paint and do things like that just to like set my mind off with things. I'm also really involved in my campus ministry. I serve there, so I go to a whole bunch of like worship nights and I have my Bible
Mm.
study group and I love like hanging out with them and just plugging into my community here at school. Um I love event planning also like when I'm on the e-board right now. I'm actually running for president soon. But I
Mm,
love
okay.
like planning events for like the SPAT association here at school and just doing things like take my mind off of how crazy this sports world can be. I just love being with my friends and family. If it's like little things like going out to dinner or going to get coffee, just really plugging into my community and staying close to my friends and family is really important to me.
Very important. Yes,
Mhm.
you said we gotta kind of detach ourselves from
Yeah.
the sports and social media. As we said, it can be a little toxic sometimes, but
Yeah.
those things those things are, you're like, okay, I can lean out of that for a little bit and really enjoy some your me time and things like that. So and it's glad that that you do those things, and for your own mental health as well. You kind of definitely
Mhm.
need that time with your
Yeah,
friends and family and that support group as we talked about earlier.
definitely.
So, all right, any final words before I let you go?
Yeah, to if there's any like women in sports watching, I just encourage you to step in places that are kind of uncomfortable at first because you do deserve a seat at the table. And some like a big piece of advice I've been giving like a few months ago and it's stuck in my head is if there's not an opportunity, you need to create one. Like
Mm,
when I first started Gabby in the Game, I didn't have much going on in the sports industry because I just had changed my major and there was just a whole bunch of things going on. So I didn't have a summer internship, but all I did all summer was Gabby in the Game. And that was kind of like my sports thing of the summer. So if there's not an opportunity presented to you, create one, reach out to people, cold emails are my favorite thing ever. I send cold emails every day asking like if I can interview their players or like things like that. And most of the time people say yes because they're just open to helping out young sports professionals and just, again, like I said earlier, that community and support that people give in the sports industry is top tier, and everyone's so sweet in the sport industry. I have not received like a no yet from people I've cold emailed. I'm interviewing some players at a school nearby Louisville this weekend because I reached out to their AD and they were like, we would love to have you. We got your credential. Here you go. So send out cold emails, build your network, and you're going to get to where you're want to go. So that's my final piece of advice, I would say.
All right.
And put yourself out there for sure.
Yeah, very well said. And again, cold emails do work. They do work.
Cold emails.
Yeah, people will answer the email. As I said, I go same thing. Just with when I look for guests and things like that. If I don't see it in social media, if they got an email, cold emails work. I think people think, oh, nobody uses email. People still use email.
Yeah, I check my email so many times a day.
Yeah, professionally for sure and everything. So, but Gabrielle, it has been a pleasure having you on. I really appreciate this conversation. Appreciate your time. I wish you the very best. Many blessings as well, and looking forward to seeing what's next for you and taking off with Gabby in the Game. And definitely will be rooting and cheering for you, and like I said, and advocating and things like that. So I really appreciate it, and hopefully we can do this again at another time later in the year.
Right, I would love to. Thank you so much for having me on. It's been an honor. Seriously, thank you.
The honor was mine. The pleasure was mine. Thank you again for doing this, and I'll have a couple clips up and sharing with you on social media as well.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
All right. You enjoy. Have a good rest of the week and stay warm and
I'll try. Gotta go to class tomorrow. We'll see.
I know. Yes. Right. So I'll be out. I gotta go out tomorrow too. So yes, but stay warm and stay safe out there and blessed as well. And I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Have a good one. Good night.
You too.